One of the greatest Americans that ever lived was Benjamin Franklin. He was the son of a poor couple who had to work very hard to find food and clothes for their large family, for there were more than a dozen little Franklins. Franklin's taste of poverty inspired a desire for self-sufficiency at an early age, and thankfully he was able to make lots of money in a hurry, thanks to Poor Richard's Almanack. He penned Poor Richard's Almanack, a proverb-filled essay about money and success about 250 years ago under the pseudonym of Richard Saunders. This was later published as The Way to Wealth and continued to write and publish new editions for 25 years. Money lessons that Benjamin Franklin preached 250 years ago is just as relevant today. Money makes money, and the money that money makes money. Benjamin Franklin died in 1790. However, 1 year earlier, he left the cities of Boston and Philadelphia £1,000 each, the equivalent of $5,000. He asked that the funds gather interest over the next 200 years and also be used for loans to young craftsmen to help them get established in their trades. He stipulated that the cities would have access to a portion of the funds after 100 years and receive the remaining funds after 200 years. When the cities received their balances after 200 years, the combined bequest had grown to $6.5 million. Why did Franklin do it? To help people understand the importance of compound interest. As you'll soon find out, compound interest can either speed or sabotage your dreams to achieve financial freedom. It's great if you're routinely saving money, but it can be a cruel mistress if you're borrowing it. Most of us don't have 200 years to make our money grow. But if we are investing for long-term goals, diligent saving and compounding can really make a difference. In Franklin's case, compounding paid off for both cities. Philadelphia took to heart Franklin's wish that the money be loaned to individuals and over the 200-year life of the trust, loaned funds to hundreds of individuals at low interest rates. Boston focused on the long-term return on the money and invested the bulk of the money in a trust fund, compounding the earnings. A man may, if he knows not how to save as he gets, keep his nose all his life to the grindstone and die not worth a groat at last. A fat kitchen makes a lean will. If you would be wealthy, think of saving as well as getting. To get good at accumulating money, you would need to start by shifting your focus. Rich people focus on earning along with saving. Most people are so focused on clipping coupons and living frugally they miss major opportunities. Whereas the wealthy are focusing their energy on not just saving, but earning a lot of money so that they can multiply it. When income increases, people have a tendency to boost their spending, which can quickly spiral into dangerous overspending habits. Unfortunately, while most of us are taught how to make money, how to get a job and work hard, we are not taught how to intelligently manage it, which is the crucial part. This doesn't mean rich people don't save. The wealthy also know saving is important. But they know earning money and investing it is even more important. As Ramit Sethi explains in his bestseller, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, on average, millionaires invest 20% of their household income each year. Their wealth isn't measured by the amount they make each year, but by how they've saved and invested over time. There's no need to abandon practical saving strategies. Start by learning the difference between an asset and a liability, the single most important distinction to recognize if you want to get rich. But if you want to start thinking like the rich, stop worrying about running out of money and focus on how to make more money, save, and invest it. The taxes are indeed very heavy, but we have many others, and much more grievous to some of us. We are taxed twice as much by our idleness, 3 times as much by our pride, and 4 times as much by our folly. Don't give too much for the whistle. When he was 7, he saw another boy blowing a whistle and wanted that for himself. He offered the other boy all his money in exchange for the whistle. Franklin was in a good mood when he got home, but his family told him that the price of the whistle was a quarter of the money Franklin paid, and he was very disappointed. He learned an important lesson that many people still need to learn: don't overpay for items. Mastering your money has more to do with your mindset than you may think. That's what author Steve Siebold found after studying self-made millionaires over the span of 3 decades. He writes in How Rich People Think. Getting rich begins with the way you think and what you believe about making money. In fact, it wasn't the lack of desire that held the masses back from getting wealthy, but the lack of belief in their own ability to make it happen. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, start with your mentality and lose the idleness, pride, and folly. Sloth makes all things difficult, but industry all easy. He that riseth late must trot all day, and shall scarce overtake his business at night. While laziness travels so slowly that poverty soon overtakes him. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Success does not come immediately. It took Franklin decades of hard work to turn from a mere apprentice into a publisher, and then he had to put a lot of effort in order to make publishing a profitable business. He firmly learned one rule: nothing gets for nothing. It is necessary to make a lot of effort to achieve the desired result. Franklin never trusted instant methods of enrichment, considering them dishonest, and fiercely criticized his contemporaries who at that time were actively involved in the search for buried treasure. Thomas Corley spent 5 years studying millionaires and gathered his insights in multiple books, including Change Your Habits, Change Your Life, in which he wrote, "From my research, I discovered that daily habits dictate how successful or unsuccessful you will be in life." Nearly 50% of the self-made millionaires in Corley's study said they woke up at least 3 hours before their workday actually began. You may think perhaps that a little tea or a little punch now and then, diet a little more costly, clothes a little finer, and a little entertainment now and then can be no great matter, but many a little makes a mickle and farther. Beware of little expenses. A small leak will sink a great ship. It's too hard to walk far in any city or town in the U.S. and not pass an enticing coffee shop, juice bar, or fast food joint. A small mental lapse could easily leave you $5 short every day, and giving into 2 cravings could mean $10 out the window within minutes. David-backed financial advisor and best-selling author calls this the Lottie factor in his book, Smart Couples Finish Rich, and wrote, "Society is now designed to help you lat your future away. There's no getting around it. Money is easy to waste. It's especially easy to waste on the small stuff. The challenge is that the small stuff adds up, and before you know it, you've cost yourself millions." To help combat the Lottie factor, Back suggests a 7-day financial challenge, in which couples track expenses for a week, no matter the size of the purchase, to determine what you spend money on and how much you spend. You can see exactly where your cash is going and areas where you can cut back. Redirect the money saved on those unnecessary daily expenses to a retirement account or other investment account so it can accumulate and grow into thousands of dollars over time. Little expenditures, which mostly goes unnoticed, will definitely add up over time, and when this little becomes a lot, it becomes intractable, just like a small leak. When unattended, will eventually let so much water in that even a great ship would sink. Therefore, tracking your spending is often the first step in getting your finances in order. Drive thy business, let not that drive thee. There is a significant difference between how rich people and average people choose to get paid. While the average person tends to work for money, the rich have money work for them. Robert Kiyosaki writes in the personal finance classic, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, "If you work for money, you give the power to your employer. If money works for you, you keep the power and control it." Working for money is the easier path. It's what we're taught in school. Having your money work for you by starting a company, being your own boss, or investing requires calculated risks and a level of comfort with uncertainty, but the reward would be great.